What's up? This is Willpower Astrology, and I'm Will, and today we're talking about the lunar eclipse in Scorpio that's happening in like an hour, hour and a half or so from the time of me recording this, so it might be more like half an hour by the time I get this uploaded. Anyway, so I feel like eclipses are like a Mercury retrograde where when they come up, everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world. It's going to be this crazy thing. But if you're really following the cycles and patterns of astrology, you'll know that eclipse season happens twice a year. We have two sets of eclipses while the Earth tilts this way and then like the moon gets in the way of the sun's thing. You know what I mean? So there's the Earth's going up, and then when we get here, the moon is in there again, and then when we come down, and then when we come back up. So it's this thing that happens twice a year. And the eclipses follow the moon's nodes, right? So the moon will the moon's nodes will spend about a year, year and a half in each sign. And while it's going through that, it's hitting the same signs. So for the last year, year and a half or so, the moon, the north node has been in Taurus and the south node has been in Scorpio. So our eclipses have been in Taurus and Scorpio. So last month we had a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, and then now we're having the lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. So whatever, what does that mean? That means that we are coming to a time where with the North Node in Scorpio, we're building things. We're growing things. We're growing our garden. And then when it happens in Scorpio, we're releasing things. We're casting stuff off. We're like shedding our skin and transforming into a different version of ourselves, right? So this lunar eclipse being the last of the eclipses that are going to happen in Taurus and Scorpio for the next like 20 years or whatever, what we're kind of called on with this lunar eclipse to do is transform. We're bringing endings. We're tying up loose ends and we're moving on to the next. So being during Mercury retrograde, there's like a heightened kind of, oh my God, what do I do? What's happening? Blah, 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 blah. So this is a great time to let go of bad habits, to let go of like old patterns, to if you want to quit smoking, today would be a great day to symbolically let go of that act and let go of that addiction. Because the Taurus side of things is we want to build, we want to grow, we want to raise things up. But in order to do that, we have to clear away. You know what I mean? The first act of creation is destruction. So with this Scorpio lunar eclipse, right? The moon is entering the Earth's shadows. So our kind of internal subconscious processes kind of get dimmed. And then we go into this kind of place of kind of primal, more instinct, right? So emotions might be running high today. For this weekend, it might be a little bit tense, snappy. You know what I mean? Scorpio's emotionally volatile. It pressurizes things and pushes stuff way down. And then it explodes in this kind of volcanic eruption. So yeah, so Scorpio's pressurized and then it wants this big release. And so to me, that's kind of what we might see on a day-to-day basis is that people are, you know what I mean? Like it's like a burst and a release, a burst and a release. We might have tension and fights, that kind of thing. We might be breaking up with people. We might be leaving a job. It's that type of situation where it's like, I can't take it anymore. Ah, fuck you. You know what I mean? So your true colors are going to really fly. It's going to really just let it out. So if you're experiencing other people acting like this, just go, they probably needed this. You know what I mean? And if it's you, like, I don't know what, just let it fly. You know what I mean? Transformation, change, regrowth, rebirth, death and rebirth, phoenix from the ashes, all this type of stuff is symbolic of this last eclipse that we're having in Scorpio. So wherever 14 degrees of Scorpio happens in your chart, the common kind of idea is that these eclipses are going to set off like a crisis, right? It's going to set off this place in your chart where you have to deal with this energy that's happening. So wherever 14 degrees of Scorpio is landing in your chart, that's the area of your life that we're kind of being called on to kind of make changes in. So really quick, just going to run through the houses really quick. If this 14 degrees Scorpio is happening on your ascendant or in your first house, this could be a time of self-reflection. I need to change myself. And this is coming through your bonded relationships and pairs. You're getting this feedback about, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I need to kind of like reframe my focus and reframe where I'm kind of coming from. And in doing so, that'll repair the relationships and whatnot, right? So if it's coming in your second house, this could be changing a job. This could be getting fired. You know what I mean? Anything that brings value. Maybe you, through your relationship, somebody goes, you're a fucking piece of shit. And then you're like, oh, my heart, my self-esteem, that hurts my evaluation of myself. So I got to figure out whatever, right? So if it's in your second house, dealing with money, dealing with self-esteem, dealing with Taurus-y type of things, right? Could be even diet. I gotta reframe my diet. Maybe I'm eating too much or too little or too much of the wrong thing. It's that kind of thing. In your third house, it could be reframing how you communicate, especially during Mercury retrograde. If this is happening in your third house, it could be the way that you're approaching things with your words. Maybe you're being too passive. Maybe you're not saying enough and you need to say more. Maybe you're saying too much and you need to, like a lot of times with Scorpio energy, it's that the floodgates open and it's too much energy is coming at people, right? And they're like, oh my God, like, ugh. The big thing with Scorpios that freaks people out is when Scorpios finally like unleash the floodgates and then they're like, whoa, just kidding. I wasn't that interested. You know what I mean? So, could be reframing your verbal approach, could be reframing kind of how you're talking with people. If it's in your fourth house, to me, if this is happening in your fourth house, I'm definitely seeing a change of residence. Maybe you're refinancing your home. Maybe you're redecorating your home. Maybe you're remodeling your home, or it's that kind of thing. You're changing your immediate circumstances. Could also be a crisis in regards to your family, your parents, siblings, like a fight. You know what I mean? Like we're headed into some incredibly rough times. And I think that people need to start having more and more hard conversations with their families. So this could be that for you if this is happening in your fourth house. If this is happening in your fifth house, this could be changing your recreation. Maybe you're not having enough fun. Maybe somebody's like sucking the life out of you and you're like, I can't do this anymore. But fun and games, recreation, your relationship with your children. This could be a reframing of your relationship with your children. Maybe your children are growing up and you need to start seeing them as grown-ups. And this eclipse is going, damn, these people aren't my kids. Aren't my little babies no more, and now they're their own person. They have to go do their own thing. It's that type of gig in the fifth house. In the sixth house, this could be, again, related to changing your job or changing like a scenario in which you're doing things on the regular, but this has to do with your everyday schedule and life. Maybe it's not working to work out in the morning, so you work out in the afternoons. You know what I mean? I don't know what. But definitely health, routines, nutrition, like all this kind of stuff. Relationships with coworkers could be different. Maybe like somebody has shown their ass at work and you can't trust them no more. And it's that type of crisis. Coworkers, bosses, it's this kind of day-to-day people that are up in your business and your bullshit. You know, maybe you just are like, no, no. So if this is happening in your seventh house, this could be that you need to work on your relationship with your partners, right? As opposed to the first house where you're like, it's me, I'm the problem. This is a time, if this is happening in your seventh house, you can go, you know, I've been really thinking about this XYZ dynamic of our relationship. Perhaps this could be a moment of you looking at yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's not me, it's you. This also has to deal with like, you know, work partnerships, work partners, friends. Maybe you're having a friend moment where you're like, listen, I need you to get it together. You know what I mean? I need you to please handle your bullshit before you bring that to me. Do you know what I mean? If this is happening in your eighth house, this could be problems with your partner's money. This is maybe like you bringing on some huge expense and your partner's like, that ain't gonna fly, and you get into a fight. It's that type of thing. Maybe there's a matter of you know, inheritance or taxes or any of this kind of stuff where we share values or share bank accounts or are bonded with these people to where our identities merge, right? Marriages, this is like long-term business partners that share, you know, literally share money, share values, share accounts. This could be, I mean, it could be a boon. It could be maybe that your partner gets this money and you're like, hey, where's mine? You know, I don't know. But through partnerships, through relationships, this could be about money and about sharing. Also, because all this has been happening on the Taurus and Scorpio kind of ecliptic, Taurus is about ingesting, like what do we take into our body, and Scorpio is about shitting shitting out the haters, right? So it's a process of acquiring and ingesting, and then Scorpio is elimination and filtration, right? So if this is happening in your 8th house, this could literally be about, let's check your gut health if you're having problems. Let's check your eliminative processes. Maybe you're like just backed up. I'm not joking. If this is happening in your 9th house, this could be like, I feel trapped and I got to get out of here and I got to make some changes in relation to how I interact with the world at large. I need to go on vacation. I need to go visit that family in a foreign country. I need to, you know what I mean? This could also be opening your eyes to a larger worldview than maybe you had seen otherwise. Maybe something happens to where you suddenly have to take other people's viewpoints into consideration that you weren't looking at before. This could be changing your religion, changing your affiliations in terms of like dogmatic groups in that way. Maybe you're having like a crisis of faith philosophy moment. You know what I mean? This will kind of stimulate that energy in those ways. 10th house, this could be changing careers, changing jobs, changing your life path, getting a divorce or marrying someone. You know, this is about the overall course of your life and how you are seen in a public setting. So maybe, you know, it's like that Mercury retrograde energy I was talking about a moment ago. Maybe if this is happening in your 10th house, this could be a crisis of like, oh shit, I need to rebrand. I need to disassociate myself with what I was doing before. And now we're going to roll out with this, right? Transformations, endings. Somebody mentioned, I think it's Lori Rivers, Astro Lori on TikTok. She mentioned that the coronation of King Charles is happening on this eclipse, which is notoriously bad for like public figures, royalty, You know, if you're having this happen in your 10th house, maybe you're experiencing like a fall from grace or like a separation of who you used to be type of moment. Is that energy. If this is happening in your 11th house, this is changing what your hopes and dreams are for the future. Maybe you thought your whole life you were going to be an artist, and now you're like, that shit ain't paying off, so I'm not doing that no more. It's a crisis of, are my hopes and dreams really hopes and dreaming the way they want? Is this stuff coming into fruition? Are the people that I'm hanging out with and associating myself with good people? If not, this could be a crisis of faith in your 11th house. If this is happening in your 12th house, this could just be a bunch of bullshit coming at you from out of the woodwork. Maybe you're not really seeing like the clarity of where it's coming from, but you know that something has to change. So it's like you have to dig deep. You have to dig deep into yourself and go, I need to pull these changes out because nobody's going to do it for you. You know what I mean? And if this is happening in your 12th house, this could be calling you to be of more service to humanity and be of more service to other people. And if you stop focusing on yourself so much and give more freely to the people around you and to the world, then I think that that'll help you out. Anyways, this is just my really quick it's a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. It's our last eclipse cycle. We're going to be out of this pattern of building and destroying and moving into this next eclipse cycle starting in July as the North Node shifts into Aries. It's going to be more about identity. It's going to be more about who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be about identity and how we relate to each other on a personal level. Yeah, so whatever. Happy lunar eclipse. Blurp.